What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be diving into the Lions' offensive game plan against this stout Colts defense. How can the Lions put up points to potentially pull off this upset and get 3 straight wins? Let's get it started. I'm sorry, guys. I have no intro, so this is the intro. Plus, there's probably going to be timestamps at the top of the comment section if you don't want to watch the whole thing. But I do appreciate the people that do and the people that don't. But I still appreciate all of you. It's cool if you do. Because, okay, enjoy the video.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Talk about this Colts defense before we get into the film side of things. So the Colts are coming into this game with one of the best defenses statistically in the NFL at everything, whether it's run D, pass D, turnovers, whatever it may be. They are really good defensively. I didn't mean to make that rhyme. And what did they do defensively? Well, they are a 4-3 defense that plays a lot of cover 2 defensively. And there's definitely ways to beat that, and we'll show some on film. And we're also going to show maybe a couple of examples on the board here in a second. But their run defense is good, and their pass defense is good. Now, there's been some questions about the opponents that they've won against, teams that they've allowed points against, because currently scoring, they're only allowing 19.2 points per game, just 4th in the NFL right now. So you can see they don't allow a lot of points to NFL teams. Now, there's been some questions about the opponents they played against, because if you look at their schedule so far, it's been the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Jets, the Bears, the Browns, and the Bengals. And the only teams that they've held under their averages are the Vikings, the Jets, and the Bears. Those offenses aren't very good. They held the Vikings to 11, they held the Jets to 7, the Jets are literally averaging 12 points a game. Hold up, I saw this and I thought this wasn't real. They're averaging 12 points a game. I'm so sorry. Yo, I feel awful. 12? Bro. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Justin. Like, no hate at all, man. That is rough, man. Hey, y'all think sometimes we got it bad. They're averaging 12 points a game. Okay. They held the Bears to 11. Those, you know, they're not very good offenses, and they beat themselves. The Vikings, they're scoring 25.8 points per game. But Kirk Cousins threw 3 interceptions in this game, and they had a safety. That's going to beat you all day long. This is the most important game of the year so far for the Lions when it comes to winning the turnover battle. You cannot have 3 turnovers and beat this team. It won't happen. Their defense is too good. You're not going to get enough opportunities. The other teams they played against, like the Jaguars, the Browns, the Bengals, have all scored at least 27, with the Browns scoring 32 points. For the most part, we'll even see in the film, they're just a really good team. They're a really good defense overall. They're very disciplined. This is a very disciplined defense that doesn't make mistakes. They don't miss tackles. They have the least amount of missed tackles in the league. They don't get penalized, 11th least amount of penalties for a defense. And they're very, very good at contain. They're just a very well-disciplined defense, and we'll see that on film. When it comes to stopping the run, currently they're only allowing 3.5 yards per attempt and 88.8 yards per game. Both of those are 3rd in the NFL. Passing, one of the better passing defenses. They're only allowing a 61.9% completion percentage, which is 6th. A 7-to-10 touchdown to interception ratio, that's impressive. And they're only allowing 10.7 yards per completion, which is 3rd. 199.7 yards per game, which is 2nd. And a 71.7 passer rating, which is the lowest in the league. They're allowing the lowest passer rating in the league right now in terms of averages at 71.1, because they turn you over. You're not able to put up big yards. They limit a lot of big plays, and they're very, very disciplined. All right, they will just take the game away from you. They're going to limit your opportunities, and if you make mistakes on top of that, you're done. It's over. It's over if you're making mistakes in this game. There's no way you're going to beat the Colts if you have 3 turnovers. It just won't happen. Some teams you can make up for it. Versus the Colts, you're not going to be able to, and we'll see that on film. So, do these stats hold up, right? Are these stats realistic? Because even though really these stats, we hear them, and that's great, how will they hold up on film? Well, the run defense is no joke, and we'll see that first, and then we'll talk about how you exploit their pass defense. Cover 2 defense has been extremely beneficial to their new veteran cornerback this year, Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes has been really, really good this season. I mean, extremely good this season in terms of his stats. I mean, he's been an absolute beast so far as a cornerback. But he wasn't that last year, right? He seemed to lose something. Well, with Indianapolis, they're doing a very good job of putting him in a cover 2 defense where he has less responsibilities. When you're in a zone defense, one of the biggest perks for a defender is that you can watch the quarterback, right? You read the quarterback size, you move around in a zone. That's one of the biggest perks. So you don't have to necessarily just focus on the receiver in front of you. Plus, if you're aging, if you don't have the same speed you used to, playing man-to-man isn't necessarily where you want to put a defender. And their luxury is that their front 4 is so good that they don't have to blitz. They only blitz 13.8% of the time, which is the least in the NFL. So they don't have to blitz and they get pressure, and they're usually dropping 7 into coverage, and with the discipline that they have across the board, they're very, very good. So when they go to man-to-man defense, you're usually going to see that more on third downs, right? You're going to see that on shorter down and distance because they'll play up tight. They have really big cornerbacks, so you're not going to get an advantage there. Xavier Rhodes, 6'1", 210 plus. On the other side, Desir, 6'1", 210 plus. Rock Ya-Sin, 6 foot. Now in the slot, they have Kenny Moore, one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league in terms of coverage and tackling, which we'll get into, like I said, once we get into the film. So the cornerbacks have size, and they play a lot of cover 2 defense. There's holes there, but it can limit a lot of big plays because it basically cuts the field in half for an offense. So we're going to take a look at one example here, which is a two-back example. When we get to the film, I'll show you a one-back example of how the Lions can potentially attack this. Two backs, that could be Kamandar, or that could be, potentially Adrian Peterson back there, whoever it may be. And the reason I'm showing you two backs right now is because I think play-action bootlegs are going to be something that absolutely kills this defense, and it's going to be a must for the Detroit Lions. But what you really want to do is you want to get these linebackers in situations where they have to make decisions, right? You want the linebackers having to cover a tight end or a receiver. So what you're going to get an example here is, let's say the tight end and receiver have go routes. You leak your running back out. This linebacker will have to pay attention to the running back. Then the middle linebacker, your Mike linebacker, he is the guy that's going to have to pay attention to the tight end who is going downfield. So let's say, for example, he follows the tight end, right? He follows the tight end up. All of a sudden, you have the speed advantage there. We'll see a couple examples against the Saints where we did something similar to that. So you could have him over the middle, or you have your outside receiver. Now you have the safety in a position where he has to decide, do I want to take the receiver or the tight end? And that's exactly what we'll see against the Saints when we show that example. You get those guys in that situation where, hey, I have to make a decision. And with a veteran quarterback like Matthew Stafford using his eyes and with his ability to throw so hard and with that rocket he has as an arm to squeeze the balls in with great placement, that can beat a defense. That can beat one of these defenses because he can see the defense, he can realize its zone, and he can fit it into a tight window. Because you're going to get windows. You're going to get gaps between the safety and the corners. You're going to get gaps between the linebackers and the safeties in the middle. You're going to get gaps. It's all about putting them there and putting them there with authority, right? Using that big arm that Matthew Stafford has. Some clips of that and we get into it. I just want to point out some of the basics of their defense and where they rank. Now let's get into the film and I'll show you everything that teams have done well against them, what their strengths are, and what their weaknesses are as a defense. I'll see you in there. Here we are on the film side of things, and we're going to be diving into this Indianapolis Colts defense. Now, we're first going to touch on this run defense for the Indianapolis Colts and why it is so good. Why are their numbers so good against the run? And it's literally, whoa, there's a fly. Go away. I'm trying to work. Okay. Yeah, okay, he did. He'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. Let's talk about this run defense, though. Why are they so good every single week? I mean, think about this. They have only allowed one team in 6 games to rush for over 4 yards per carry. One team did 4 yards per carry, and that team was the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Vikings ran for 4.4 yards per carry. Since then, Jets 3.8, Bears 1.8, yikes. Browns 3.8, Bengals 3.1. Think about that. One of the best run defenses in the league. Something has to be going on here. They have to be doing something right to make that happen. Well, they are. And they're doing things right at every single level. This is one of the most disciplined teams and one of the most polished defenses in the league right now. I mean, it's just that simple. This defense is playing at an extremely high level, especially in the run game, because they are extremely disciplined. They have the least amount of missed tackles in the NFL, the 11th least amount of penalties defensively in the NFL right now. And they do a great job of filling their gaps, filling their assignments, and backside contain. They are so disciplined, it's absolutely incredible. They have the veterans, they have it all. So let's start off with this first play. Just a couple of examples against the run. Here you're going to take a look at number 53. Now, Darius Leonard, we don't know if he's going to play against the Detroit Lions. We'll see. It looks like he will. He is back in practice, so it looks like he'll play. He missed a few games. But what they have, Indianapolis, is speed. That linebacker position is fast. Kind of a little bit like the Falcons, but they're extremely fast. And it makes it nearly impossible to block in the second level for offensive linemen. So if you get a stretch run play, if you have offensive linemen pushing downfield, it is so difficult to pick up those second level blocks and open up big running lanes for a running back. It's tough for offensive linemen to block their defensive linemen across to them, let alone block it to the second level against this team. And you're just going to see absolute speed here. Just an example of speed. He rushes over here, and there's no chance for the offensive lineman. So just take a look at this play. All right, you're going to see the recognition. You see the handoff. And look at this. This lineman, he's trying to pick up this block. There's absolutely no chance. He's just so fast, recognized the play so quickly, and then it's just pure speed that takes over, and he makes the play in the backfield. Nothing going for the Minnesota Vikings on that play. Also, another weapon that they have are their cornerbacks. Now, this play is extremely blurry. I apologize for that. This play is extremely blurry. Let's move that over here. But either way, their cornerbacks can tackle. Now, their outside cornerbacks, they have a lot of size. Xavier Rhodes, a lot of size. Desir, a lot of size. But in the slot, what they have is a guy named Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore, one of the better slot cornerbacks who covers really well, but he also can tackle. And that ability to tackle, their cornerback's ability to come up and make tackles, kind of like ours, is also makes them very, very difficult because it makes them super dangerous. And that's what you see here. This is a cornerback that's Kenny Moore in the backfield. I know it's really not good quality, but you can see him just fly back there and make plays. All right, now let's take a look at this Bears game. The Bears that ran for 1.8 yards per carry, and we know if they can't run the ball, it's it. I mean, they can't do anything if they can't run the ball, and they couldn't do that in today's game, and that's why the Bears scored, how much did they score? 11 points. That's why they scored 11 points in this game. So, here you're going to see in motion, and this is just great backside contain. One thing that we touched on for the Lions, and they're doing way better with, is backside contain on these stretch run plays. And again, just the discipline, just to stay, wait, and he's going to just be here right there waiting for David Montgomery to make that cutback. So you can see he's just staying, waits, and Montgomery has nowhere to go. Backside contain. They're one of the best run defenses because they're really good at every level. In the inside, you have guys, let me go back a little bit further. In the inside, you have guys that are just super, super dominant. You have Stewart, who's been playing out of his mind, who had his best game against the Cleveland Browns, who were the best rushing team when they went to face against them. All right, then you have DeForest Buckner, who you brought in. The dude is literally 6'7" and plays the interior at 300 pounds. And then on the ends, it's really about just containing and playing support to the interior that has been extremely dominant. And in the second level linebackers, you have these speedy linebackers, and you have secondary players that are not afraid to come up and make tackles. They'll blitz off the edge. They'll do kind of what the Lions do. They can tackle. They're super disciplined, and they're aggressive. One thing about this defense, and it reminds me of us in some ways, is that they are playing really aggressive, but they've done it all year. They're extremely aggressive, and they play fast. That's what the linebackers are known to do. However, there is some downside of that to the defense, and there's ways that an offense can take advantage of that. But they're fast, they're aggressive, and they're disciplined, so they make plays. However, at times, that can be used against them. But I'll show you this play one more time, and then we'll continue to get this thing going. But that's really what I wanted to show you with these. Here's a good run play. The reason this play works so well is because you can see the tackle is actually able to get out, because the offensive lineman is actually able to get out there and pick up the linebacker in the second level. If you can do that, that's great. It's difficult to, but if you can do it, then you can open up some run plays. It just doesn't happen often enough for it to be something that's consistent for most teams. That's why most teams can't run against this team. You're going to see what I mean when I say they're a very disciplined team. It's screens, okay? It's play recognition. It's being there and prepared to make the tackle. And they play a lot of defense. This is a 4-3 cover 2 defense, okay? They play a lot of cover 2, and they're a 4-3 defense. Cover 2 can make it difficult to run screens because the cornerback's not following just man-to-man. He has his eyes on the quarterback, and he's there anyways, right? He's going to be sitting there anyways to make the play and help take away screens. So if you're playing against the Colts and they're in their cover 2 and they're in zone, and all of a sudden you go to a screen, there's a good chance it's not going to work out very well because they're prepared for it, right? Everybody's watching the quarterback's eyes. They see what he's doing. So here, look at the discipline. Look how many defenders you have over here. You have 3 defenders against 2 blockers. Nothing's going to happen on that play. So you can't just simply, hey, let's go to a screen because they play a lot of man. Nope, they actually play a lot of zone. They're a pretty zone-heavy team, and that makes it very difficult to run screens. And here's the discipline once again. They don't miss tackles. They just don't miss tackles. They are just make plays. They have playmakers across the board, and that's what makes them so difficult. However, when you do get them in man-to-man, because they will mix it, if you can recognize that, which I think Stafford can and Baker Mayfield can, is tight end screens. This is actually one thing that the Browns did, which I really, really liked, is it's not just a normal screen. It's a tight end screen. We've seen the Lions do it a few times. The reason I like this is because their defensive line, they don't blitz. All right, they blitz 13.8% of the time, the least amount in the NFL. They don't blitz. They rely on that front four to get pressure, and they can. But every play, these defensive linemen are just expecting to pin their ears back and go. However, if you get them in these situations where all of a sudden you leak that tight end out on the screen, now they're all of a sudden aware of that. The defensive end is like, oh snap, now we have to be aware of this that could happen. So here we go, watch this play, Baker Mayfield, little tight end screen, I like it. He lets him come through and then just dips out, and all of a sudden you got 2 blockers ahead, and it's a good game. I think that's Austin Hooper. I like that. I think that's something Lions may mix in. We may see a tight end screen in this game. We've seen a few this year from the Detroit Lions, but I really, really like that. This is passing the football. This is where the Lions can have success passing the ball because it's not going to be easy. Like I said, they're a cover 2 defense most of the time that runs a 4-3. One thing that I love against this defense is taking shots. I love taking shots. Now, their cornerbacks have size. For the most part, their outside cornerbacks are over 6'1" or at least over 6 foot, 210 plus. They have size on the outside, and that slot they have Kenny Moore who's really good. But one thing that I love against this team is play action. What did I tell you about the linebackers? They're fast and they play aggressive. Sometimes that can be used against you when you over pursuit. You can see everybody over pursuits, and it allows Baker Mayfield, who is doing this rollout to the opposite side, to have no one in his face. He's got time, and then you get a one-on-one here. Okay, you have a one-on-one with your corner and your receiver. Mayfield just needs to put the pass out there, and he does, and it's a huge gain. That's what I want to see Lions do. The teams that do it have success against this team because they force the linebackers to over pursuit, and then they have to be aware of that for the rest of the game. I think this is a team that you honestly open up the run game if you're going to have any any chance to run the ball with passing the ball deep down the field early. Take shots against this team, and I think play action rollouts are going to be really successful. Again, a play action to the running back, no one in front of Nick Foles. He's able to dump it off for a pretty good gain there. Timing and placement is also super important. Here we go again. Another play action rollout. Look at, there's no one here. You're going to get your wide receiver who comes all the way across the field. Now, this is just an insane catch. I really don't know how he caught this football, to be honest with you. But Baker Mayfield's got all the time in the world. He throws it in there. I'm not sure. He might have caught it off his back or something. But it's a big game. Play action rollouts, man. I love it. I love forcing the defense to over pursue. Here we go once again. You get him on the rollout and you get the dump off, especially if they're in zone, because your linebackers then aren't man-to-man with that tight end. And when you're in zone, they play their area, right? So if you get a play action and you get something like this rolling out, all of a sudden everybody kind of drifts to a side, over pursuing, being ready to stop the run, and you hit him back with that play action bootleg, and you have a guy out there just waiting to make the grab. That's what I love, and I think the Lions are going to mix a lot of that in. Now, also passing the ball. When it comes to them playing man-to-man, one thing that's really helped Xavier Rhodes out this season is that they're getting him less in man-to-man on an island situations. With Minnesota, he was on an island most of the time, and he is not that player anymore. But with Indianapolis, they have him more in cover two, so he's not asked to have that same huge responsibility one-on-one. They do go one-on-one. They like to play really tight. They like to play up and aggressive in one-on-one defense. Even in cover two, you get sometimes corners will play up and aggressive. It just really depends on, the down and distance. But when they do play man-to-man defense, you'll get an aggressive defense. Okay, you're going to get corners pushing up. You're going to get these guys pressing. They're physical, right? They want to get up there at the line, and they want to make you uncomfortable. So it's all about timing and ball placement for the quarterbacks. Here you're going to see a really good example of Baker Mayfield. Great timing and great ball placement. He's going to go to a quick slant right about here. He's going to go to a quick slant. Boom. It's low. It's away from the defender. And it's right where they need it, right on time. Now you're going to see Nick Foles, who has bad timing and bad placement. Okay, this is bad ball placement on this one, for example. He's going to run a slant here. Same kind of deal. All of a sudden, though, you have bad ball placement, okay? So he knows where he wants to go with the ball. The linebacker slides over to take away the running back. And you have room, right? This is room. If you throw it down, if you throw it low, and you're right on time with this, it should be a completion. However, that's not what happens. You get a high pass, and it makes it really difficult, and the defender's able to go up and make a play on the football. These big receivers, they want you to throw the ball up, right? They want you to put it where they can go get it, because that's not their disadvantage. If you're going against a 5'8" cornerback, sure, put it high. If you're going against a 6'1" cornerback, all of a sudden, you need to put that away from them, right? You need great ball placement, and that's going to be big on Matthew Stafford in this game. Here we go again. Out of the gun, you're going to see not the great ball placement here. Puts it up back behind him where the defender is able to get his hand on the ball and use his strengths, which is size. The Lions can't have that. They need good ball placement. They need to be on time and on schedule with their passes. This defense too disciplined. Again, here's Nick Foles taking a shot. Even Nick Foles taking a shot. You can't be afraid to go up and get it, okay? You can't be afraid to take shots and loosen up this defense the best you can to try to open up that run game. Because I'm telling you, if you just try to pound it, you won't get anywhere. You just won't. Not consistently. If we can, we'll win the game. We'll go away running away with this game if we can open up the run game just by running the football, and we're just dominant on the offensive line. Keep in mind, this may be the best offensive line that they go against, if you think about it. I mean, we have the best run blocking offensive line in the league, so it could be, at least last week we did. But I'm telling you, I think open up this defense by passing the football, taking shots downfield. Okay, here we go again. Now we're going to dive into kind of their scheme a little bit defensively in a second. Here's the first play here. So like I said, a lot of cover two, so you're going to get gaps. So the safeties really have to make decisions, and you're going to get gaps 16 to 20 yards downfield usually, sometimes tight ends over the middle. But what's going to happen is you're going to have safeties who are going to be backing up. Your cornerbacks will play about this far. So this is where your gaps come in. And that's what you see on this play. You got your linebackers dropping, and you're going to get certain gaps and places where Stafford can attack. So the cornerback stops, and all of a sudden you have this room. This is where you need to be on time. You need to make a good pass, and that's what Nick Foles does, and he gets Allen Robinson open. Let me show you a couple examples of what plays the Lions could run against the Saints defense. It's also what I wrote up there, but we'll show you here. So this is against the Saints. You're going to get a similar look here. You're going to go two receivers. You can go one back. You have Hockenson here, who takes a lot of attention for the linebackers, and that's why the motion is super important. Hockenson goes across. But what I like about this play is now you have the running back going out, which is something that he has to worry about. But what they do here is, I believe it's a smash concept, where you have the wide receiver cut in, and then you have this one go out. This is what the Lions do on this play. It works really well because now, the safety, he's looking at both, and you kind of get everybody out of whack on this play. Now you got a one-on-one with your safety. As long as it's in front of him, this is a completion. Stafford throws it maybe a little high here, but either way it ends up being pass interference because he had to run into his back to get it. This great position, wide receiver's in great position. Here's another example. Matthew Stafford's got two receivers. They go with the play action. This is what the Lions are going to get looks at. You're going to have one safety, and now you're going to be asking that middle linebacker to take away this receiver. he's not going to catch up. And you have a receiver also going deep. So you got two go routes here. So the safety has to make a decision. All right, do I take the outside or do I take the inside? And whichever one he sees, Matthew Stafford has the option to take it. Now, Matthew Stafford seeing this defense sees that, hey, here's a linebacker. He's not going to be able to keep up with my receiver. So as long as I throw it to the inside, he's going to have his back to him. That's going to be a pass interference or a touchdown. If I throw it here, this safety can just jump on it. So he has to use his eyes, but Matthew Stafford takes the inside. He steps up, takes the inside. No way for the linebacker to even get into play there, and it's another pass interference. That's what we need to see the Lions do, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Now, here's what you can't do. Turnovers. This is going to be the most important game of the year when it comes to turnover battle because the Colts force so many turnovers, and they beat teams like that. They take you out of the game because they force turnovers. 10 interceptions on the year by this defense. And here's what Kirk Cousins did. 2 interceptions, 1 before the half, but you just can't have these. All right, you just can't have these plays because if Matthew Stafford's turning the ball over left and right and you're facing an offense that's solid, but you know our defense is a little questionable. If you're facing a good defense, you're turning the ball over, you're going to be in trouble because you're not going to get enough opportunities to go score. You need to make your opportunities count. You really do. And you know Lions like to control the ball, control time possession. So there you go. Another terrible pass is picked off. We can't turn the ball over. All right, coming into this game, that's what Matthew Stafford can't do. That's what the Lions can't do. They need to win the turnover battle. It's the most important game for that this season. All right, let's get off the film. All right, everybody. So thank you guys for watching to this point. If you are here, shout out to you. If you're here, comment alligator down in the comment section below, or maybe you click the timestamp. I don't know if there's timestamp or not, but I do want to say thank you guys for watching to this point. A player to watch here is Matthew Stafford, and I think it's all about the turnover battle. It's all about the turnover battle in this game. That is the key to winning this football game and potentially pulling off what would be an upset against the Indianapolis Colts at home and getting 3 straight wins. So the players to watch offensively, it's going to be Matthew Stafford because it does start with him. I just hope Darrell Bevell does a great job because I think we win this game through Darrell Bevell of putting our offense in good positions to attack their weaknesses and not their strengths. Open up their defense as best you can. You have to run the ball. You won't win if you just throw every play. Certain ways to run the ball. It's not just pound it, and hope you break one. I think it's opening up with a pass. So definitely Matthew Stafford's got to be a person to watch here. I think Marvin Jones Jr. Might just have something to say. Or maybe even Kenny Galladay. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?